Well, I don't know if you read the news today, but new Biden grants are coming. New Biden grants are coming. Actually, it's Biden grants and jobs, and they're coming. So I want to show you how to get in line with the fat cats, because the fat cats are going to be ripping this thing apart, to make themselves more money. And you can too, but you have to know where it is and everything. But let me go over first about what's in this thing, the infrastructure bill. It's $1.2 trillion. And even in Washington, man, that's a lot of money. So it's going to go to the bill is like almost 3,000 pages. So you don't want to read that thing, right? You don't have to. What you have to do is know generally what's in there and to where to go to get help and finding out where that money is going to fall into your pockets where you live. And that's what it's all about, man. Unfortunately, this is what Washington is all about. Everybody's in town trying to get new laws passed to spit out more money for them. So you could get in the same line. Somebody else does all the work and getting these laws passed. And then you just go and make sure you get in the right line to start getting this. Okay, so first in the infrastructure bill, and infrastructure, that's all the stuff that runs the country, right? So there's $110 billion for roads and bridges. Okay, all those potholes we have and the bridges that are falling down. So it's to pay for construction and repair. The funding also helps for transportation research at universities, funding for Puerto Rican highways, and congestion relief. Congestion relief. Doesn't that sound like a drug they're advertising on TV? Oh, for congestion relief, try Roma-Aids, whatever the heck it is. In America, okay, $66 billion for railroads. Okay, funding includes upgrades and maintenance of Americans' passenger rail system and freight rail safety, but nothing for high speed. So we're not into high speed yet, but we're going to make these a little safer and faster. The power grid, that when you turn on the lights, it works. The bill funds updates to power lines and cables, as well as provide money to prevent hacking of the power grid. Clean energy funding is also included. So are you, energy saving person? Well, it's going to be in here. Maybe you have an idea for that. That's going to be in there. Broadband. How broad is broadband? Well, it's going to be $65 billion. And that's like number 3 on the list. So this is huge. Okay, what's going to be in here? Okay, it's going to include expand the broadband to rural areas. I know my son lives out in Bumfuck or whatever, and he has trouble with it. So they're going to make that just like down in the cities. And more importantly, look at here. There's more help to reduce internet bills for low-income citizens. So there's a program now. I'm going to give you an update on the current program because only like 17% of the people who are eligible to get, basically free internet Wi-Fi are missing. So that's like 80% of the people that are eligible aren't applying. That's terrible. So we'll talk about that another time. But there's going to be 65 billion more for that. So we're going to be wired all over because that's where the action is. You have to get jobs and all this kind of stuff for that. Healthcare and everything is all on the internet. Water infrastructure. Remember those people in Michigan that were drinking polluted water and getting ill and sick and dying? Well, lead pipe cleanup replacement. $10 billion for chemical cleanup and the money to provide clean drinking water to tribal communities. Okay, here's one. $47 billion called the Resilience Fund. I looked up what is resilience. Okay, it's protect the infrastructure from cybersecurity attacks. Okay, so you have $74 billion. You're worrying about a career to get into. Hey, go to the your local community college for probably free. You can take a cybersecurity course and get in on this. They're going to be hiring a whole bunch of people. Okay, transit. You want to work for the railroad? Public transit, buses, stuff like that. $39 billion. Allocation also includes money to create new bus routes. Hey, how would you like a new bus route? We're going to make one for you. Help make public transit more accessible to seniors and disabled Americans. Okay, so you're a senior and disability. That means discounts. That means all kinds of things to make it easier for you. Maybe your own personal bus. I don't know, but look out. It's coming. $25 billion for airports. Okay, maybe they get better food in the airports. Allocation fund major upgrades and expansion of airports. Air traffic control towers. The system would receive $5 billion in total upgrades. So that's 5 billion out of the 25. I don't know what the other 20 is going to. 21 billion for the environment. These monies will be used to clean up Superfund and brownfield, abandoned mines, and old oil and gas wells. Actually, this is a place where they're looking for businesses. So there's also usually grants in these areas to help people start build new businesses in the area. So they give you grants to start businesses there. So that's important. Ports. And this is not port wine or anything, Madeira. No, $14 billion for ports. Half the funds in category goes to Army Corps of Engineers. They build the ports. That's what. Additional funds go to Coast Guard and ferry terminals and the reduction of truck emission at ports. Oh, I guess the trucks are waiting to unload stuff, and there's a lot big, pollution going on there. 11 billion for safety, address highway, pedestrian, pipeline safety. Okay, you worried about something? You're something in your neighborhood is not safe, for pedestrians or schools or whatever. Okay, there's money. Show your elected official. Hey, go get some of this money. Let's make this safe, right? See, that's how this stuff works. It's money for you. You don't even know it. 8 billion for Western water infrastructure. Yeah, they're going dry out there. It's going to be a dry, West Coast soon. The drought conditions in the western half of the country will be addressed through investments in water treatment, storage, and reuse facilities. Electric bill vehicle charging stations, so $7 billion for that. Well, there's a good growth industry to get into, jobs, entrepreneuring, things like that, to build these charging stations around or be a supplier to that. Man, I mean, money going out $1 trillion, that means they're going to create jobs and opportunities. Okay, $7 billion for electric school buses. And that's not powering inside for your Wi-Fi, the kids to work on the way to school. But no, that's for the emphasized bus fleet replacement in low-income rural areas and tribal communities. This funding is expected to allow those communities to convert to zero-emission buses. See, now, how do you fund? Well, let me tell you another interesting thing here. How they're funding this, okay? See, to get things through Congress, excuse me, I'm going to have a little decaf coffee. Okay, how are they going to spend for this? Okay, here's the interesting thing. Okay, we got $1 trillion, okay? We're almost half of that. Oh, no, a quarter of that, 210 billion, of the $1 trillion is coming from, listen to this closely, repurpose of unused COVID relief. You hear that? Repurpose of unused COVID relief. That means those rent programs. That means those mortgage programs that we're giving out grants for. That means business programs giving out grants for. All those grant programs that we're giving out people that didn't have enough money to pay things. They're not applying. They're not getting them out. People don't know they can apply. So they have like $250 million they're going to repurpose. Now there's a hell of a lot more sitting out there unused. So I think they can get away with just, 200 billion. God, there's 200 billion that we were supposed to spend on what a problem we have. And I haven't seen that problem go all away. Have you? No, that's the problem, man. It's all about education and information, where the hell this stuff is and how it gets out. I mean, it's the details. And when the country's in a crisis like that, they just throw money out. Hey, that's what we need. How we get it out there, I don't know. I don't care. Just get it out. And so they don't know how. Bureaucrats have to follow laws, and they can't, like an entrepreneur, make it up on the fly every day. No, you can't operate like that with government money. So that's where a big part. Now, they're also going to have an auction from some of the airwaves. See, the government owns all the air in here. So you want to transmit something, you got to pay for the air you're going to use to put the signals in. And they're going to get $70 billion there. Economic growth. Now, this is a little funky, I think. Who the hell knows what economic growth is? But they're guessing there'd be a 33% return on the investment in infrastructure projects. So I guess we're going to grow 33% more when we fix the bridges and buses could go get somewhere faster and things like that. So that's 56 billion. States returning, listen to this one, returning unused federal unemployment supplement. Unused federal unemployment supplement. Now, I guess that's particularly all the states that say, hey, we're not going to pay you money anymore. Remember those states? They were like 15 or something like that. And they cut off the unemployment early. See, the government gave them all that money to give to you, but they, oh no, fuck that. Yeah, we want these people to go out and bust their ass somewhere. Well, that didn't really work that way, but the money did go away. So it goes back to the Treasury, and they have that money to put into here. So that's where you, I mean, call your elected official. Really want to know for sure, but that's my guess. Well, what happened to that? And don't forget, call your. This is where to find out about all this stuff. Is your elected official? It is. See, all that money's going down is going to create a hell of a lot of jobs. You're an entrepreneur selling, software. You're an entrepreneur doing house cleaning or whatever. You want to know, what companies, what organizations, or whatever are going to be getting this money. It's going to go down the state, then the local. Okay, a good place to start is really somebody is usually hooked up with your governor. And the governor, there's usually a place that helps people get grants and things like that in the governor's office. So you want to start there if they're not know about it, because if you start locally, they don't know yet, but you want to get ahead of the system. And that's why this is where the fat cats go. They're all in line this morning. They're trying to figure out, okay, there's transportation, who's going to get that, where, whatever. So you want to know that. Okay, where else can you go? There's something called PTAC, PTAC, I think. Let me see. It's a sell to the government. Get this loaded up. PTAC sell to the government. Where? Okay, yeah, okay. You want PTAC. Everybody else is going to sell you something. APTAC-US.org. Okay, that's where you want to get. Now, what you have there is all the local offices that help you for free to get government contracts and jobs and things like that. They will know who's get the money, because also what you do there, you get some contract. So in other words, somebody's going to get a whole bunch of money to do something, and then they have to hire somebody to clean the office. Well, that's your job, or a personnel person, or an IT person, or whatever. So you want to know who's getting that money, where, and when. You want to start getting that now, because later on it gets picked over, and you don't want to be picking over the like the buzzards flying around just picking at stuff. No, you want to be first in line for this stuff, and that's it. Okay, now let's go through where the other money's coming from. The information report. Oh, I see. Okay, state's unused federal unemployment supplement. Okay, delaying Medicare Part D rebate rule. Don't know what that is, but something in Medicare. So us old farts are going to get screwed somehow, or somebody's getting a rebate to pay for something in Medicare. No idea. Your elected official is the best one to call. Applying for information reporting requirements to cryptocurrency. Okay, they're going to start charging on cryptocurrency, and they're going to get $28 billion to pay for the infrastructure. Okay, so you cryptocurrency investors, that's probably going to affect that sometime. Okay, extending fees on GSE. GSE is government-sponsored enterprises. So that's like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. They're making money, but they're government-sponsored thing. So they're going to increase their fees and to pay for the infrastructure. See, I guess they do this because nobody's going to know about this. We'll just put it here and get the money. There's lots of nobody's going to. Sales of future spectrum offerings. Now that's again, the FCC, Federal Communications Commission. They auction off, the airwaves for you to sell stuff in, and a lot of it used to be just TV and radio. Now it's everything, right? So they get money there. So they're going to get $20 billion from that. Reinstating Superfund fees. I guess I'm not sure whether people don't clean up their super funds, so they're going to fine them. I guess, don't know. Mandatory sequester. That means it's sort of like their sequester is okay. You could only spend 99% of what you have. So like grab a little pieces of change all over, and it looks like they're going to get $8 billion or $9 billion there. Extending custom user fees, sales of strategic petroleum reserves. So it's going to be a gas station. Strategic petroleum reserve. We got all this petroleum. I guess we don't need it as much. So they're going to sell some. Man, there's money there. $6 billion. Reducing Medicare spending on discarded medications. Not sure what that means. Doesn't sound too complicated, but discarded medication sounds like something you throw away, right? Or something that's not uh, ethical anymore, or works anymore, whatever. Don't know, but that's $3 billion, something there. Extending available interest rate smoothing options for defined benefit pension plans. Man, that's another word. They found a million pennies somewhere. They're getting them one at a time. No idea. But you want to know something about that? Remember, you trying to find out where the hell that money is, and you can't find it from the governor's office, then you go to Common Cause, find your representative, and you call every office you can. You put in your address, you'll have them all listed by there. Because it's a federal program, you start at your federal elected officials. Maybe eventually you'll get down to the state, which is at below that, and there you'll have your governor and lieutenant governor if it's elected. So that's available. But start with you. Just call their offices. How do I find out about where they're going to get money in my state for this money? For the infrastructure bill. I want to, how can I keep track of that? Hey, it's their job to do that. Don't worry about it. You call me, I'm going to charge you eventually. Call them, they can't. That's why you want to call them. And they know this information. If you call me, I would go there. That's the thing. So cut out the middleman who's going to charge you and go straight to the horse's mouth. And that's why what's government is so neat, man. This whole town of people like me, they get information for free and sell it for as much as they could get. And I can't get looking over it. I started a business doing that 30, 40, 50 years ago, whenever it was. Still doing it. Man, my first New York Times bestseller was a book that's published by the government printing office. I just took it, copied it, and made a New York Times bestseller. Nothing in the government is copyrighted. So that's why you want to know about this stuff. You go to your elected official and just learn how to be patient, learn how to be nice, and learn how to be persistent. So persistence, patience, and kindness. Yeah. And that's what you get. That's going to be more than any internet trick you'll ever learn, because the people run this stuff and they know what's going to be on the internet tomorrow. That's what you want to know, because by the time it gets to Google, then everybody's, it's over. It's picked over clean and you're fighting for scraps. No, you don't want to fight for scraps. You want to be first in line. That's what the fat cats are. They don't go to Google search. Shit, no. That's why most rich people don't even know about how to use the internet. They get stuff before it gets the internet. That's what you want to do. And actually next week, I think by the 15th, they're going to have the other bill coming up. We'll go over that a little more when that happens. But it's all about, where is it? I think I got it here somewhere. Where is it, Mommy? It's for the, let's see, it's not what's in it or not. The Democrat proposal for the not the infrastructure, but the child and caring. Now, this looks very good for everybody, because it has child care, preschool, earned income tax credit. That $3,000 and $3,600 per child we're getting this year, that's going to be extended. Home care is going to be a lot. Clean energy. Healthcare is going to be covered. Medicare is going to cover hearing, and while dental and vision covered did not make the cut, Medicare we should have covered for hearing aids and hearing tests. So now old farts could get hearing aids and hearing tests. Housing's covered, higher education, workforce development. That's a lot of job training, man. This is going to be, this is going to be bigger for you. But if you want to earn money versus grants, the other one is where you can earn money. That's where the jobs are. That's where your income is for a long term. You learn skills that way and everything. So that's why you want to learn the first one, the infrastructure, because that's where new jobs are going to. You have $1 trillion worth of new jobs at all levels, all backgrounds, all ages, everything. And now they're having trouble hiring people. Now with another $1 trillion, they got to hire a whole shitload more people, and they're going to have trouble. They're having trouble now. That's why employees, workers are in the driver's seat, because everybody wants you more. I mean, that's why they're giving bonuses and you don't want to come on Tuesdays, fine, and all this kind of stuff. It's a whole new ball game out there. So look for that income. That's where you get income. And I think, particularly if you're able to do it, and see, now you can work at home. So if you're not able to go into jobs, there are more jobs, full-time jobs just at home. You'll never see the goddamn people. I've worked with people In my business, I've never seen for 15 years. Greatest employee is one you never see. No have a problem. And they're just great. You just judge on results. So the rest of the world is starting to feel that way. So there's a lot of jobs out there, full-time, part-time, or whatever. And look at work at home. Go to Indeed.com and just put work at home and see what the kind of stuff that's out there, and start applying. It's all about apply, apply, apply. Same way with grants, apply, apply, apply. Okay. But now for the infrastructure, that money is coming down. It's it's on the top of the sliding board and it's going to come down and gush out. By the time it comes to the bottom, all the fat cats know where it is. So you want to act like a fat cat and know where it's going to be ahead of time. So you're first in that line and signing the papers.